Good morning, my students, and welcome to your English class. Today, we're going to continue with the review of fruits, numbers, and let's start, okay? Now, do you remember the fruits? Do you remember apple, color red, pear, color green, bananas, color yellow, oranges, color orange? Okay, we're going to continue those same fruits. We're going to review them one more time. And also about the numbers. Do you remember the numbers? We have seen two numbers so far. Number one, which is like a soldier, okay? Number one, like the soldier. And number two, which is like a duck. Quack, 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 quack. That's number two, okay? So the pages of this day are three. This is the first page. We have fruits, numbers. On the second page, we have a square, which I will explain why you have to do this later on. Numbers and numbers 1 and 2. So let's start. Now remember, the teacher works on the whiteboard. So that's why I have the images here. So I can explain it and you can do it in your house with your family. So let's start. Now, on the left side, like I mentioned it, we have fruits. We have the pear, bananas, and apple. And on the other side, we have numbers. So first of all, what you have to do, my children, is to paint the fruits. Now, don't forget, for pear, the pears are color green. So once you have your pencil case ready, you pick up color green and you start painting all of the pear, okay? All of the pear, all of it, all of the pear. Now remember, there are two ways to paint it correctly, side by side and up and down, up and down, up and down, okay? In my case, I am going to paint it side by side. Excellent. Once you have finished with the pear, what is next? Bananas, and bananas are color yellow. So once again, you grab your pencil case, you pick up color yellow, and you start painting it, okay? Side by side, side by side. Excellent. Once you have finished with the bananas, what's the next fruit? Apples. And apples are color red. So, don't forget, grab your pencil case, look for color red, and let's continue. Okay, side by side in this case, side by side. Now, what happens with numbers? Okay, for numbers, you can paint it with the colors that you want. In the case of the teacher, I am going to use color blue for number 1. What about number 2? Let me think. Color orange. I will use orange for number 2. Okay, don't forget, side by side or up and down. Very good. Now, once we have finished with fruits and numbers, the most important thing is to join the correct number with the fruits, okay? So let's see. Join, unir, we have to join, tenemos que unir, we have to join the correct quantity of fruits with numbers. Okay, let's see. How many bananas, remember the question, how many, ¿cuántas son? How many pears do we have here? Let's count. 1. Only 1 pear. So you have to join it, 1 pear, with number 1 because it's only 1 pear, okay? What about bananas? Let's count. 1 and 2 bananas. And where is number 2? under number 1. Okay, we join it. And the last one, we have only one apple. And where is number 1? Don't forget, right here. So we have to join it. And that's it. That's the activity, that's the first activity of this day, which is on this page, page 33. Now, once we have finished with this, we switch pages and we continue working here. Now, like I mentioned it before, we have some squares, and next to the squares, we have some numbers. Now, this activity, I draw it here, so it is bigger. Now, here we have again numbers. Number 1, don't forget, like a soldier. Number 2, which is like a duck, okay? Now, what happens here? The first thing, the most important thing here is to paint the numbers so you can continue learning them, okay? So, for number 1, I am going to use color red. Don't forget, side by side or up and down. Now remember, the teacher is painting in this order, but you in your house, you have to paint it correctly and don't leave blank spaces. En casita recuerden colorear sin dejar espacios en blanco, sin hacer rayones y sin salirse de la raya. Okay? Very good. Let's continue. Now, for number 2, I am going to use, let me grab my pencil case. I am going to use purple for number 2. Very good. Let's continue with the activity. Now, once we have finished painting the numbers, the next thing, the next important thing is either to draw, dibujar, or to paste some objects according to the number. For example, here, what number is it? It's number 1. So, if the teacher wants to draw stars, how many stars do we have to draw here? Si yo quiero dibujar una estrella, ¿cuántas tendría que dibujar? Only 1, because that's the number that is telling me the quantity, okay? So only 1 star. Now, let's continue with the next number. Here, we have number 2. Now, if I want to make circles inside the square, how many circles do I have to make? 2 circles. 1 and 2, because here it is mentioning that I have to make 2 objects. Now, don't forget, in these 2 squares, you can draw, podemos dibujar, or cut and paste objects. Recortar y pegar objetos. Okay? Very good. Now, the last page of this day, again, we continue with numbers. Number 1 and number 2. With the colors that you want, this is optional. You have to paint number 1 and number 2. Okay? Very good. So, that's it for today, my children. I hope you have an excellent day. Remember, the teacher loves you, and we see you tomorrow. Goodbye.